welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Diaries. My name is Martin Lang, we're here at Death and Taxes, and today we're going to be talking about the core range of Glenmorangie Lasanta. Now, the core range of Glenmorangie starts with the 10-year-old, then you got the Lasanta, then you got the Quinta Ruan, and then you got Nectar d'Or. You also got the 18-year-old, the Ximénez, and the 25-year-old. Obviously, over the years, Glenmorangie has released a lot of single bottles as well, and that core range goes like for hundreds of bottles. So it's just we're just gonna stick for the moment. We're just gonna stick for the core range. Now the 12-year-old, the Glenmorangie started in 1843. They didn't start producing whiskey till 1846, and then since then they have been basically supplying the world with some of the greatest whiskies in the world. Now, Glenmorangie, like many distilleries before as well, it got mothballs during the Great Depression, and then they got mothballed again in the Second World War, and then later on in 2006 got bought by Moet Hennessy. Now, Moet Hennessy, Glenmorangie, before it got bought by Moet Hennessy, Glenmorangie also owned Ardbeg, so Moet Hennessy bought both of them, which is a really good thing. Glenmorangie actually changed the packaging and introduced different names and different versions of the whiskey that actually made Glenmorangie actually grow. They also invested a lot in the distillery as well, and they kept growing it, making museums and visitor centers and so on and so on. It was actually one of those purchases in which even a private company, a massive private company, takes over a family-owned business and they actually make it better, respecting the flavor of the whiskey in itself. So Glenmorangie, a couple of interesting facts about the distillery itself besides the history. One of them is that they own forest in Ozark in Missouri, which produces their own oak barrels. Those oak barrels also get leased to Jack Daniels and other distilleries in America. But what that gives them is a lot of control on the quality of the barrels and what they use for them. That's how the core range for them is sherry, port, and Sauternes cask. So this one, the Lasanta that we're going to be talking about today, it's based 10-year-old in American oak and 2 years old in sherry casks. Now, we talked about wood in other videos, but just to give you a little bit of understanding, sherry casks can be made out of either American oak or European oak. It depends on what sort of sherry they put in the barrel that gives it different flavors and aroma. Now, I do personally believe that a European oak with sherry in it has more spicy aromas than American oak with sherry in them, but that's not here and there, and it's a very subjective matter. Regardless of the fact, the rare range that is part of this core range, which is the Lasanta, Quinta Ruan, and the Nectar d'Or, they basically get aged 10 years in American oak, and then an extra 2 years to 4 years in a different types of cask. This being sherry, as I said before. Now, this one in particular gets the ABV for this one is 43% ABV. I have mentioned in previous videos, and I thought that this was going to be 46% ABV because for what I read and for what I studied before is all the core range non-chill filtered and bottle at 46% ABV. But this is not correct for this one. This one apparently on the bottle says that it's 43. I think the Lasanta previously, this is a new version. The previous Lasanta was actually 46 ABV, but you don't quote me on that one. I can't really see. But I'm surprised that this one is 43 since the other two are 46. Anyway, sherry cask, as I always say, it's one of my favorite aging barrels. They create a great whiskey. Lots of complex aroma. I found that American oak, too much American oak, actually, or 100% American oak, gives too much vanilla, too much toffee, like caramel, like really simple flavors. I find that sherry is a lot more complex, but that's my personal belief. Everybody has their own opinion, obviously. And then, yeah, this is delicious. For the price as well, this is a whiskey that you can just have at home and just drink it at any time of the day if you feel like day drinking. But this is actually delicious. You get a little bit of the American oak, like obviously 10 years is a fair bit. It's a little bit light as well on the palate. Obviously that 43% ABV is actually just falls a little bit short. I think that this whiskey would benefit greatly if it was 46, but it's still absolutely delicious. Super soft, a little bit oily, mid palate, and then yeah, you got that spiciness, a little bit of that like spice, cherry fruits, and yeah, like cloves and so on. But then you get that toffee and caramel from the American oak. Great whiskey as well. They know they just don't make a bad whiskey. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you next time. Slàinte, bye guys.